Judy, and I'm your president. We're ready to go ahead and get started with today's luncheon. We've got a great crowd, and this is kind of bittersweet for us because this is our last luncheon for the summer. We're not going to meet in July. We're not going to meet in August, so we won't get to see each other for a couple of months, and then we resume in September. And so this is one of the last networking opportunities that we have before everybody kind of breaks for summer. Do want you to take pay attention to your e-blasts that come from the group, because we will continue the ASCE coffee chat series over the summer. So look out for some announcements for that over the next week or so. So we have a pretty full slate today, so I'm going to try to be quick. If you have an announcement, we can go ahead and start lining up here at the front. We'll go through those in just a second. But we do have one item of business. I think this might be the first slide. So over the last few months, we've been asking for those of you who are interested in volunteering at the board level, on a board position or a committee level, send in your name and contact information, and we'll put on spot for you. Last month, we put this list of folks as our next proposed slate of officers for next year, basically advertising who we want to be as our leaders for starting in October through September of 2025. And this is that list. I haven't had any feedback except for James Spurt, you're my mustache competition and competition for past president for next year. That was the only feedback I got from last month. So what I'd like to do now is hold a vote. So the way this works is somebody needs the floor in motion to approve the proposed slate of officers for next year, 2024, 2025. Do I have anybody interested in making a motion? So moved. Okay, thank you, sir. Now, here's the hard part. You need a second. And it can't be you, Mr. Mercer. Okay. So all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Okay, I believe the ayes have it. So congratulations. This is our next slate of officers for next year. So what happens next? We won't see each other for a few months, but in September, somebody from the Texas section usually comes and runs through the oath that we'll take for the next year and installs these officers for the upcoming year. So that is really all I had announcement wise. So I'll turn it over to whoever's next. Please. One slide. Oh, okay.
EWRI?
Yeah.
Looks like the slide didn't get in there, so.
All right. I can wing it.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I don't have a slide, but I'm here to give some updates for EWRI Austin. My name's JP. I'm taking over some president duties a little early for us. Here are some updates. We had a rain garden work day on April 27th. I guess you can imagine it was cool with some pictures in your mind. We planted some plants, maintained a rain garden at Gonzalo Garza. Other than that, we are still planning our annual workshop, which traditionally has occurred in the summer. We're trying to get the word out that it's still happening. It's happening on November 1st this year. They'll be at the Pickle Center. Expect to see some flyers and marketing for that soon. Also wanted to say this Saturday, we are hosting a technical tour of the Pecan Springs Karst Preserve, yes. You can sign up on the ASCE EWRI Austin website. I will say, please try to do that soon if you are going to sign up, because we need to give a head count. Because this Saturday, it should be cool. And then our next leadership meeting will be in July. I think this is TBD. Please be looking out for emails. We might just do a happy hour, kind of a summer end to the year. So thank you.
I'm Clint Smith. I am representing the Younger Member Forum today. I have a couple of announcements. First, wanted to thank everybody that came out to our June 1st creek cleanup on Shoal Creek. We collected several trash bags filled with trash, shopping carts, and all sorts of random items that we took out. Additionally, I wanted to announce that our annual joint barge party that we do with the Young Professionals in Transportation is happening again. That'll be in August, so towards the end of the summer. And then additionally, if you are interested in serving in any capacity for our Younger Member Forum Board, we have so many different kinds of positions, from planning golf tournaments, planning socials, planning service events, or coordinating our scholarships that we do. Please let me know and I'll get you in touch with our board for next year.
All right, hello. Last time I think you're gonna hear from me up here. Yeah. So we have our board positions filled. We have the majority of our committee positions filled. I do still need a social media director. So if anybody knows how to make Instagram work, please come talk to me. We need a business card. I have no clue. We need help. It should be pretty straightforward. The content is provided to you in most cases, so you don't have to create stuff. And if you want to, that's great too. But we do need help there. We're still looking for some help on the membership table as well. Y'all check in. You see how busy it gets back there. We like to have a whole team back there, so that you're not standing in line for 20 minutes waiting to come out the door. But if neither of those interest you, we can still pitch on a number of different places, any sorts of other committees. So if you're interested in being on the team next year, please come find me, give me your card, whatever. Thanks.
Hi everyone, this is kind of like the last minute for me. I don't know if y'all noticed, I put some flyers on your tables. This is for CECon. This is an ASCE Texas event. And this is just a friendly reminder that CECon will happen in September 18th through the 20th in Frisco, Texas. And this year's theme is Racing the Great. There'll be topics in bridge, paving, textile panel. We're going to put a textile panel as well. And anything related to transportation as well. So it's a great event. I'm sure I see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of companies that are already sponsoring or have sponsored in the past. So looking forward to seeing you then. Thank you.
And on this slide, and one last quick announcement here. So recently we had our first pickleball tournament, and I want to give a big shout out to Chris for kind of leading that effort. Chris, can you let me know, like, how did we end up doing on funds raised? We raised enough for a full scholarship this year. So this is our first year. So really good job. Yeah, round of applause. Yeah, we anybody injured at the tournament? No. Yeah, so that first year, I thought it was a really great event. A lot of people showed up, a lot of people who I don't normally see at these luncheons. So kind of tapping into a whole new group of people, but thanks to everyone who came out and those of y'all who sponsored. Today, we've got a really exciting presentation, and my firm WGI is proud to sponsor today. I'm going to give a little bit of spiel about WGI real quick. So multidisciplinary engineering design services firm. We've got locations mainly in the South, Central, East area of the country. 24 locations now, over 650 people. We offer, like I mentioned, a wide range of services: civil engineering, electrical engineering, MEP, landscape, parking, mobility, planning, stormwater, structural, food services, traffic engineering, on and on and on and on. Basically, if you can dream it, we can probably build it. Here locally, we've had the pleasure of working on a lot of really big marquee projects. The Waterline Tower, which is going to be one of the tallest towers, or the tallest tower in Texas when it's completed. We've worked on the Waterloo Park, also with MBVA. A lot of beautiful buildings around town, some that are under construction right now, like Republic, you can see up in the top left, River South, Arrive Hotel, and soon to start construction, the Six and Blanco project with Herzog de Meuron. my big shout out today is that we are hiring. We are hiring at all levels. So if you're interested in hearing what kind of opportunities are out there, I think that that's one of the biggest things that we can bring to offer somebody in their career is the opportunity to grow. And we're actually got 2 positions that we're really trying to get filled currently, and we're putting a special sign-on bonus program into that. So project managers and anyone who's got some really extensive experience in construction that can kind of help lead our construction phase services team. So I'm going to leave a little stack of my business cards in the back. If anyone's interested, feel free to take a picture and take one for yourself. But we're excited to sponsor today a beautiful, amazing project, the Confluence. So really quick on our speakers today, we've got Tim Gazzo, who's the senior associate with MBBA, Michael Van Valkenburg Associates. He's pretty much the lead designer on the project, and really kind of I'll call him the program manager. He's kind of like bringing the whole vision to life. We've got our very own Katie Bolger with WGI. She's the project manager on the civil side. And we have Logan Golla with AEC, who's project engineer, kind of leading up most of the structural stuff. So if y'all give me a round of applause for our speakers today.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are super stoked to be here to talk about this project that has been in our lives for several years. Some of us a few more than others. There are endless stories, lessons learned, and problems to solve along the way. But today we really wanted to focus on operating within constraints and how those constraints shape this project as a whole, how we detailed structures around them, and the utility infrastructure. So I'm going to give it to Tim to kick us off here.
Hi. Make sure I can operate a laptop. Okay. All right. Everybody hear me all right? We're good. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. So what we're going to look at today is operating constraints. I think it's, overall, we try to kind of dial in these titles so they're not too, I don't know, architectural and fancy. But I think there's a lot of interesting hurdles we've had to overcome through the history of this project since back in 2015. And a lot of them have to do with constraints, because I think constraints can be a good thing on a project, or they can be, I don't know, depending on your point of view, slightly overwhelming. So these are all kind of fun though. So I'm just gonna walk through. I'll try not to go too fast because I want to make sure everybody gets a little bit of time to speak here. But we should have a little bit of fun, right? Okay. So the Greenway will have a major role in shaping what Austin has become. I'm sure you probably heard this. It sounds a little bit like a marketing line. I don't think there's anything not true about that. It's a greenway right in the heart of downtown. It connects Lady Bird Lake, ultimately. Yes, there we go. You guys hear me better now? Yeah. Where did I lose it? Hello? I'm gonna stand over here. All right. Would be an easy way for me to speak. So the Greenway will have a major role in shaping what Austin is becoming. So at a high level, I think we've all been trying to do that. It's a park. It is a multi-phase park in downtown Austin, Texas, stretching from Lady Bird Lake up to Waller Creek Park. So the whole idea is it is a chain of parks. So at the end of the day, you're going to be able to get on Waller Trail, get onto the Creek Trail, never leave the Creek Trail, and up the UT. So that's next slide. I don't think that's the only project, right? There's a lot of pretty interesting projects happening downtown that are all kind of shaping what Austin has become. Recently, the Bridge, Project Connect, Austin Convention Center, 35 Captain Station, all of them I think are going to be very transformative. So it's very, for anybody across the country, Austin's growing like crazy, and it's a really exciting time to be a part of this. It's helping kind of shape what that urban growth is. So Waller Creek, so why is Waller Creek interesting? What are the constraints here that I think, point going back to, I mean, you really have to go to the beginning, right? When you have something like a dynamic system, like the creek system, kind of overlay it with the grid on the top of that, you're gonna probably run into conflicts over time. One does not necessarily jive with the other one. And then you have like Shoal Creek really on the outside. So the two, you can see how Waller Creek, in the beginning, you can see where some conflicts may arise. Nothing is really like that over time. You're looking at that now, massive growth, and Austin is it's like lots of it's going to do that, right? It's strong. It's out, so you don't necessarily have the density, which is actually so in the scheme of the creeks, where Waller actually falls, it's really more in that city center, right? So you have even Shoal, like Bobby, all of them, they concentric circles outwards from the city center. And Waller really, because of that, it's urban, very urban in the city center, it's actually great. You're gonna run into some conflicts. Or constraints. Here we can see again, if you have space, I guess that's the better way to say it, right? It's possible for a fleet to move, for you to expand, track, the seasons you have, Shoal Creek, even Shoal Creek, you have space around it, where it's the average shelf, it's 200 feet wide. Because of its urban nature, Waller Creek at that best is about 55. Well, it was a pretty deep overall height. A lot of that is due to overland runoff, high cold source, a lot of influence into the creek, storm outflows. In some instances it's great, you go there during the season where it's pretty, it's lush, right? You can have some nice moments there, when that starts fading away, a lot of what's remaining is right there. Eroded banks and a lot of structures over time that serve and then you also have the exacerbated flood conditions. This is not not 100-year events, not by any means, but it's because of how the impervious cover, you're just getting you're getting a lot of water moving very quickly through impervious conditions, which gives you this, right? You have very sized banks, you have utilities that at one point had cover over them, and no longer have cover over them. You have trees that are kind of the only thing that are keeping kind of banks intact. And you have structures that are hanging off the edge. Big infrastructure and competition. So this is kind of an overview I'm giving you. I don't know how familiar in general, I know people over there at the project. But big picture, Waller Creek control. That's been built. We understand what that is, right? That's the headwaters around the Waller Park and discharging all the way down. We've decided what's along the way. The whole idea is that it activates during certain level of events, right? It moves all that water, lifting area downtown with that outward floodplain, making it very easy for project developers. I'm sure a lot of you have worked on developer projects that we've done. So competition. NBA one competition, I believe it was the International Design Competition in 2012, and you can see the creek roughly, the tunnel roughly follows the extent of the whole point of the design competition was really like how do you work with this? The creek, the competition, the winning competition, which is one of the relay, really is built on the back of this massive piece of infrastructure. So there's spaces. Right, and you can't do all this at once because by its very nature, downtown is constrained. It is difficult to have. Let's just talk about logistics, construction logistics, where you stage and where you have access to the creek. You're also thinking about just temporary creek diversion. There's a lot that goes into just building something that may be constrained. So you also think a lot of it has to come down to budget as well. But you get to the project level one. So projects has been phased. One good part, I'm sure a lot of you have been there, that have been phase one. Phase two, the Confluence, which is currently under construction, where I just came from, and it's opening in 2025. It's going well right now. Then phase 3 was like it jumps here, right in the middle, right? That's being scoped right now. So let's next slide. So the whole point of mandates in this project, you know, it makes it interesting, and you know, I guess it's a constraint. I think it's also an opportunity. It's really to get away from the hard engineered solutions that are river and show right there. We can next slide. Begin to employ more soft engineering solutions, and I think it was some of the launch tail. We were talking about it one place, producer natural systems, something that it's like, well, what we're looking for here is a stable complexity. Again, remember, downtown, urban grid, you don't have real estate, you do not have. So really you have to think about something that you can create some complexity, which we're planting or doing bioengineering, but you also need it stable, which is how the armory is playing, how we integrate that. So work within the channel. This is a current shot of Greenland confluence under Stephen Shaw's branch. It's the elevated walkway where you actually coming down on the elevated walkway, which we talk a bit. And again, you're kind of moving from south to Cedar Chavez all the way to Palomar, not having. But the channel really looking with our water resources here, Logan Tech, everything. This is everything is built on the right. So this is called functional pyramid, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. But essentially, these are like the big ideas that really help covering how the design kind of came about, understanding what that so on. So at the framework plan, which was the initial planning document after the competition, we had 3, let's just call it this is called right? Preservation, what areas could be preserved and not touched, left as is. We had restoration, what areas could essentially be brought back to where the previous condition was. And then we had the orange, which is reconstruction, because some areas like we were looking at earlier were so constrained. They require just total reconstruction once we increase that to help degrade condition, improve infrastructure, and also just really to recreate that. So, you know, we'd be going from this size condition to this, right? We're kind of building out this slopes. And again, some of the challenges are there. It's we don't have a lot of space to work with. So it's like a little cheat sheet, right? I think I'm a landscape architect, right? I'm not so much here, like I'm more service engineer, but you know, I think where we really thrive is kind of working with everybody, bringing everybody together, and having this really collaborative design discussion. Like this is the idea that this is we have one of these for Scour, this is for water loss, right? So up to a certain few per second, data planting is fine. But then really as you see increases in bioengineering, then ultimately you can't get away from having skill. You want planting as much as you want, but everything else has to be realistic with that. And we kind of cheat that a little bit, like we'll get into that, how we try to cheat that a little bit, which is kind of fun. But first, these are some planning documents that we put together. I don't, not showing out a little bit, but essentially this is like a heat map, right? Like what's actually happening here is you're actually there's some color there that's representing the intensity of the flows during certain events as they go in, and then the deposits right here, just ground deposits, organic materials, and then also like so really it's just like we did this for the entire page, understanding where the run sequences were, where the lines were, how the groups were going to interact, where columns are going to be, which is going to be interference for objects within the grid that water react to. And then, this is when translated into the construction documentation. So the documentation itself, it's documentation, right? It's bringing something like it's bringing clear planning documents to life. But here you can say this is how we identify where our operations go, what size of the problem. That's something really important. Sure. But we're all where we needed to have all this flood edge, or you can see here so eco features, there's Bolger clusters. Now that's And then even to a lesser degree, where we couldn't necessarily incorporate armoring, but we have areas here that are TRM, right? So certain it's just material and how play against scout. But wait, open it up. The blue lines, this is the next round of constraints, I think that really helped us kind of understand where things fit vertically within the channel. Those are the water surface elevations. Again, it's one coordination from that tech. But we have the 10 CFS, which is your baseline, right here at the channel. It's the most narrow. Then above that, you have your 3 month, which I'm not going to get into how the tunnel works. Let's just say right now, floodplains contain entirely within the channel, which is incredibly unique. That's all because of the tunnel, right? So, what does that look like in section? And this is where we started kind of just like teasing out, like, because 100 years, Austin actually hasn't had like a year in quite some time. For you to challenge me on that, but this has been something that us maybe that in this week actually a lot. So again, you can see how does the armoring respond, right? I think you have your 10 CFS, which is at the base here, which this is your base channel that you're looking at. Here's flood edge. Right here, you can see that's well within the 3 month. Then again, where our upper armoring conditions were, they had to respond to 100 months. We had to make sure that at least we would look at the funds, we would look at the problems down. But like ultimately, that's how you want to see a lot of this armoring response because one other thing, constraint that we're working with, it's not only keeping everything in the channel and keeping it protected. It's also ensuring that we don't overtop the trail, which we weren't, and then like 14 came along, and look, we were. So there's only so much you can do. And bottom line, this is where we said, no, yeah, we go. Bottom line, this is where we started cheating. And this is a typical detail of protection uses this. Just something that's really kind of fascinating how our armoring, what you see in the channel would go up to about that 3 month, right? So ultimately you were going to be armored, even during any sort of storm event, you're not going to have anything that destabilize the channel. That's where your stability is. It's not stone, right? So how do we play with that? A lot of them is kind of soil packing on top of that, vegetated riprap, planting within that, which we have some examples of it. So far, so good. We haven't had super real event, everything's holding up so far, just the plant stuff. So, anyhow, that's us cheating. But another way we armor is with stone, but you can do vertical and ASCE walls. Of course, you can do the standard city, typical city blocks, right? We go to a lot of projects that we do. We sourcing materials. We go to quarries. We see what those quarries. And one of our first trips out there, they always large, massive blocks of stone just sitting there. They actually have them stacked out on the outside. It's very cool. And they're just like, oh, this is the stuff that we get this out of the way so we can get to the looters below it, the nymphs below it. So we're like, it's actually kind of beautiful. Like it's Caliche stone. And pretty much we took everything that Superior Stone has. And you can see it, these are just these massive bases. They have beautiful venation in them. It's a little bit of a weak point here, but what you're looking at is essentially a 4-ton sandwich with 2-ton slices of bread, right? That are just stacked on top of each other. When you stack them like this, very stable, except you turn them upside down. But they're, they can pop apart. But ultimately, they have so much mass to them that when we have constrained situations, which we do consistently, working with infrastructure, so that's a 66-inch water line that runs this way behind the wall. We can't do NSE, right? There's no room for it again. So really looking at these large blocks, they provide us the mass in order to kind of not just, not comes ends behind the city, we can support the bank behind it, we can support the trail above it, we can avoid conflict with the 66-inch water line. But because we're laying it back, we're also working with the channel and the morphology. So we're kind of turning it into an opportunity. And then in some conditions, we are using more standard blocks that you would expect to see around the area. But this particular condition is, just unique entirely because it's, again, top of bank here, there's a building. Again, you can't really, geotechnical engineer, let's do an MC wall. It goes all the way back, 20, 30 feet, but it's like all the way back into the slope. There's just not real estate there if you're destabilizing the building or whatnot. So we kind of played this game with soil nails and techo mesh. Techo mesh being that mesh you see on the side of like highways, right? Where they drill rock anchors into walls and it protects like boulders from falling down. That's essentially what techo mesh is. We can apply that to the slope, essentially pinning it down with soil nails, which is what's providing your slope stability. And then we came out and built out the channel again, responding to what the geomorphology of the channel would be, but and then this particular one, I think it's kind of a fascinating example, because you can see at this end of it, we have existing walls right down here that's kind of feather into. But then as you move south, you kind of start moving into this planted corner. So we started splaying the wall out. And the only way to really kind of do that is you could say here, we have MSC actually that ties back into the techo mesh. And we start just teasing out the layers of stone. So ultimately you're not planting it comes forward. So you're not looking at like a 10, actually in this case, 20-foot vertical wall. You're really looking at more like a planted condition within a wall. And again, like, there is an overall like thought here of what Waller Creek is. And if you go back to that one image I had earlier, which shows how it gets overgrown, there's a lot of vegetation which doesn't just grow there. And there's something that's really kind of like captivating about that because you can't buy it. You can't buy the trees that are growing out of the walls. You just can't. Those things have been there for 25 years and they're chill and gnarly and beautiful. You have to look at them. But you plant some new trees, it's going to look like new trees. So we're also trying to preserve material as much as possible. We're also trying to keep big opportunities where that could happen again, which is what this is. So looks like the title got cut off here. You can't necessarily totally see it, but what you're looking at here is something that's probably going to make everybody sweat a little bit. These are limits of work, limited construction. So from schematic design through contract documents, the project boundary shifted a lot. So now we're kind of outside the channel, right? And we're looking at really like the top of bank condition. And you can see there's just a lot of like fluctuation. There's a lot of factors that were behind it that we just couldn't control because we were not permitted them. We had to respond to them. Like developers move a little bit quicker than the city of Boston. But that's okay. Next slide. The challenge design ultimately, that's the outcome of the project. That was kind of set and understood and how we would be armoring that. It was kind of coming back. And what are these top bank conditions? And these would be influenced by 100 different things. A lot of them, this is like a pretty good slide where it seems around is, these are all the properties that we have coordinated. And we coordinated with every single one of them. There's actually one or two that are not being mentioned there, because they somehow impacted our project one way or another. That could be good coordination, right? It could be, figuring out how to reroute utilities, but it also could be, in terms of some of the project developments, figuring out how to negotiate access, but then also some city requests, which, are Austin energy requests, which make this, the city request might be just providing trail access up to the Rainy Street district, which is, you're kind of seeing that like right in the middle here. Or it might be the process duct bank, which is increasing capacity for downtown and Austin Energy just kind of coming in and running their line right under the bridge. And I think this is one of my favorites because it's, I should be changing limits work, but this is the limit work and how it fluctuated. It's not really showing up that good. Let's just say there's two colors there, pink, and then there's another color, blue. But the limit work constantly fluctuated even during seasons. And again, this is a lot of it's in response to changing development demands. So we want to change the design. I think we understanding the infrastructure a little bit more. So where we currently were extending back to, we had to increase our little bit more because we had to extend our manhole down the line. This was a constant, kind of reshuffling of this perimeter. But ultimately, you have a project that has, it's not an area where it's in like a very specific place, but you do have like a network that really reinforces the existing city grid and makes connections that weren't previously there. What you're looking at here is all of the various connections and how you say, once you're coming off the Butler Trail, how do you get directly to Main Street? There's more direct access now, access Cesar Chavez, Cesar Chavez. And then down south, it's like, you can go all the way to Palm Park very quickly. And then so on and so forth, up to 4th Street, very well to city right here. All of the materials, everything that we used in this project was for a reason. And I can't stress enough how there's nothing like, oh, we like this, we're going to do this. And usually there is a factor beyond that. Like the main trail material is pervious concrete. I think one, we like the durability of it. Two, we obviously like that it would help keep water off of the trails very quickly. But then also really thinking about some of these bridges and structures and the materials of them. I think both Katie and Logan are going to get into some of these other infrastructural bridge structures, but they really become like the icons. And I think this is going to be fun. I decided to kind of take everybody through like a general understanding of how complex it is. This is on this project. This is a cyberscope. Or cyberscope. This is 4th Street right here. It's the creek that runs up through 3rd Street right there. So this early rendering that was done. The bridge itself, it kind of curves from this point. This is the trail line at Sabine. So you're coming here, you can connect over to 3rd Street, or you can get down so you can begin your journey. So what are the constraints here really work? The main thing is we're meeting grading existing rail lines, right? Those are rail lines. We don't really have a lot of flexibility. We can't ask them to move that. Change elevation. There's like Armstrong bikeway right away. Those grades are not as set. So immediately we have to meet those. How does that relate though to over 3rd Street and also bringing you down into the creek? So some of those constraints we're looking about. Obviously we have to meet those existing grades, and also these passes need to be ADA compliant, right? Which unless we're doing a ramp, it's under 5%. But then, as you remember before, there are utilities all over the place here. So in addition to ensuring our ratings, we had to really kind of fluctuate where that finished grade was to ensure we had enough cover over the utilities below. And that's, in a couple of senses here, which you also never see done back because we are doing all the utilities below the ground. And over here, we have a massive, I think it was a 54-inch storm line, which we had to be above, ensure that there was coverage above that. But then, 3rd Street Bridge itself, you're kind of bringing people down, and obviously you don't want to decapitate people instead of running down the 3rd Street Bridge. So ensuring that we had enough at least like 10 is what we're going for instances on the project. That's much coverage or clearance rather we needed. And finally, this is a multi-phase project, right? Phase 3 is it's currently being scoped, it's not there, but we still have to be thinking about how these connections work and how this and factors that we need to be thinking about there. One thing is providing access. So because this is a ramp coming down, there's a landing unit. There's only one point that we can actually make a connection to bring people off that trail and then under 4th Street Bridge. And then, ensuring that we have the overhead clearance on the 4th Street Bridge, doing our best, stay on the floodplain there. But ultimately, we have Cypress Grove Bridge, which, there's the design of that bridge in particular is very unique and tied to the circumstance that we are negotiating. And this is my favorite part. And so we go bid. Everybody's excited. Jay Reese is the contractor. Cat Metro Falls. Or, no, I'm sorry, no, it was a Cabin Station. So, we're being increasingly creative around 2 feet trail